Driveline Research and Drinks. Fuck.
Dinks.
Driveline Research and Drinks podcast, episode 19. Getting recorded on Father's Day. I'm Alex Caravan, your co-host, co-swag manager of baseball analytics. What do we got?
I'm Anthony Brady, biomechanist at R&D, your primary host of the Driveline R&D podcast. Back
we gotta stop with
for
that.
episode 19. Brief hiatus on episode 18. I know you guys all missed me. Good to be back. The primary host of the podcast.
What'd you do to algorithm, man? How come that only got 20 views on YouTube? Were you on listing the videos when people were looking at it?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
You think we got a bunch of butterscotch fans
Chip.
and they wanted to see the aesthetic of some butterscotch taffy in the on the screen and decided not to watch it?
I don't know what it was, man. But I think might be some sort of missing link in there. Ship falling apart without its captain. I don't know.
That's weird. A captain just that's weird though, because we were trying to get the captain on the ship.
Yeah, Captain been he would have been on the ship. He was unaware of the departure time.
What do you got, Lindley? Oh, also, yeah, we'll revisit drinks because I have to open this boxed wine by the time Lindley finishes his introduction.
My name is Kyle Lindley, R&D engineer, Driveline Baseball. I'll start it off with the drinks. Drinking a hazy little thing. It's noon on Father's Day. 'Tis the season for some early drinking. So
It's the afternoon.
Yeah, it's 12:07 p.m. Pacific time.
We're good there. It's the afternoon.
I'm getting some. I opened this thing up. We threw a party a couple months ago.
That's
Or,
been
like,
in the
8 months ago.
That's been in the fridge for a long time.
Yep. That's the best part, dude. It
Wow.
just stays good. I think says fresh for 4 weeks, but I'll take that. I mean 4 years.
Is that a bag or are they like cans?
Yeah, dude. I need one of you guys to come over here and slap this.
Oh God. Oh jeez. For those listening, Caravan just pulled out a bagged wine out of a box.
Legit haven't drank. Haven't
At
drank
noon
this
on a
since,
Sunday.
College day parties. All right, let's pour some.
Oh man.
Okay, yeah. You introduce your drink, Brady, while I try. Oh, I had to.
In the meantime, I am drinking the very aggressive Boulevard Bourbon Barrel Quad Barrel Aged Ale, a light 11.2% bourbon ale.
Where'd you get that? Is that from the grocery store? From a?
I apologize to the
brewery?
viewers right now
Distillery?
for what they're seeing. This is not. That's more appropriate.
All right. Let's see how this boxed wine's held up.
In a coffee mug.
Dude, it's not bad. Oh, jeez. Oh, my
Jesus.
God, dude. If that hadn't been on the lid.
Oh my God.
Starting the show off hot, baby.
Definitely.
Anyways,
Definitely one of the better
give us some updates. Give us some
intros.
updates, Butterscotch Captain, since we missed you last week.
Oh, I don't know if you watched the episode,
Yes.
Anthony, but Caravan said he was the primary host of the podcast last week. When reality, everybody's clear. I'm the primary host.
How far in? How far
We don't
in
have to
was
worry
that?
about
Because I was watching it. I don't remember that though. So he may not have articulated it very well, which is fine. It's good. We can keep it that way.
Yeah, I didn't say I was the most articulate host, bro. I just said I'm the primary host.
Yeah, but because you lacked the articulate part, no one knows. So I'll still be referred to as the primary host. Thank you, Mikey, for initially getting that started.
Dude, Mikey hasn't watched an episode since. You said this guy's the primary host. I can't. This guy can't keep my attention.
Yeah, right. All right.
I'll tell him we've switched things up though. You want to hit some Arizona updates, or you want to get a little bit of teaser. Mention baseball's back. Right, like Manfred.
Baseball is back, baby.
We're having
Baseball
a
is back.
12-game
That's
season in 2020, so we're all really excited about that.
The Studs are still trying to fit in a 12-game season, so baseball will be back in.
Is Wichita actually going to happen, or is Barry just hoping?
A lot of optimism for Wichita. A lot of optimism for the Stud season, and I think just summer ball in general. People are still holding out, but I don't know.
Aren't the big ones already shut down?
Most of them. I think Northwoods is doing like a hybrid abbreviated season. I think the WCL is canceled. A lot of like tournaments and stuff have already been banged, but we'll see. See what happens. But baseball is back, especially in Arizona. Talk about it latter half of this podcast. There, that was the teaser.
All right, what do you got, Lindley? Last week.
Last week, I did some study things. Wrote the intro for the Way to Ball paper, slowly coming along. Worked with Caravan on some other study analyses. And
Yeah, actually, yeah. Let me cut you off so I can talk first, and then you lead off that on the on the SPM and everything else, because I feel like you're gonna have a much better lead.
Oh, one thing that did happen last week, a very, very big update, is I switched out for those watching on YouTube, switched the dinosaur sheets out for the blue digicamo sheets. So pretty big.
I'm more dinosaur. I'm repping dinosaur harder, I think.
Yeah,
I like the dinosaur.
Yeah, I think I am too. So I might have to switch back to that.
How are you sleeping with any sheets when your air conditioner is broken?
It was only broken for a day. Got up to 88 hours. We're good now. Back down to the 70, 68 actually.
Nice.
What's been the high temperature wise the last couple of days?
Like 116. It's pretty routinely gets above 110 every day. I'm sure it's like 106 right now or something.
Just really quick, can we get a car update?
None. No car. Still shopping. Really want to find one. It's currently 105 outside right now. So
shopping for what, dude? We only need one car for our new house.
Yeah, we don't have one.
Well, Spencer, what?
We don't have one.
We have 2 cars, dog.
What?
We have 2 cars, 5 people.
Spencer got a car?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
You're moving in with Caravan's girlfriend.
Yep. Yeah,
that is not a shared car. Right. I am still looking for a car.
Oh, dude. Oh, by the way, quick update on housing. I'm trying to convince Scott to take the basement. I think I told you.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl he dated in New York. He might be convincing to move to Seattle. Might be because the basement's kind of like its own spot. Its own, like, it's got a kitchen, whatever. So I was telling him it could work for 2 people as well. So we might have 7 people in the new house, dude.
How many cars then? Be? Do they have cars?
Still 2, I think. No, Scott's got a car. He's got a truck. So 3 cars, 7 people. That's gonna be jamming.
All right. Research updates.
Yeah. What were you saying about SPM updates, Karen?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, quick update. I'll do a 2-part update on my end. First off, College War. The C-War dashboard is now down for the public. Got a couple DMs and comments on that stuff. Like I said, we're going to figure out the best platform to push it on, whether that's a third-party host, whether that's like something that we're hosting and we link to certain logins, or have on one of our mini platforms, one of which we'll talk about in our other clickbait title, TRAQ Edge. But essentially, we want to have a sustainable dashboard for college stats, other stats as well, and have continuous updates to that as we improve our process. But had really good feedback with C-War. Really happy about it. Definitely outgained Lindley pretty heavy on the followers the last couple of weeks.
You've been
feel free to DM me or follow up if you have any questions about it. Like I said, those stats will soon see the day of light again, but couldn't keep them on just a Shiny platform because you can't just host Shiny forever, at least not without dropping a couple bills. And also, it is over time gets slow, very hard to like feature prioritize, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I said, very, very happy with the feedback, and I'm pumped. We made an imprint on college analytics. It's something we've been working on for a while, and we'll continue to work on. And then on the other side of things, very different from college sabermetrics, started put in some long overdue work on some biomechanical projects this week. Finally whipping up the part 2 of the SPM blog, and SPM is statistical parameter mapping for full signal biomech data, basically comparing people's pitching motions over the duration of it across like a bunch of biomechanical metrics. The 3 of us, I think, put out a blog on it on part 1, I think maybe like late November or something of last year. But It's quite dense and quite technical. So I don't know how well it did. I think it's like one of the blogs I'm prouder of, and I'm pumped that we're kind of ushering in a new era of research in that field because there hasn't been too much stuff done on that, partially because it is so complex.
At least
Specific to baseball.
Yeah. Like there's been stuff done on like MRIs and other kind of signals
and biomechanics, like other fields.
Yeah,
there's a cricket one that OC sent me a video. It's really cool. So sorry.
Like gait cycles. It's like super common in gait cycles.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why you'd be thinking about gait since your gait has so often been criticized. But
my gait's fantastic.
I mean, if you're in a Penguins, if you're in a Penguins, it's fantastic. Anyways, I'm pairing.
Did Caravan just get louder?
Yeah.
He
was projecting.
Am I getting louder now?
Projecting.
Oh, okay.
I'm already getting drunk off that box one, I think, bro. So block 2 of the SPM stuff, we looked at a few interesting divisions because the first one we kind of just looked at our harder throwers versus softer throwers and looked at significant differences between the two's pitching motions. This time we played around with like different heights, different subsections of hard throwers and soft throwers, and I've been sitting on information for quite a while. It was just taking forever to put a blog together, do the applicable writing part of it. So I got Lindley on board with writing the biomech discussion parts of it this week. I don't know if you got a chance to look over. I don't know if you started putting in some stuff, but I know Lindley was admiring my casual writing style before it gets cramped by the editor. But yeah, worked on that and also worked on doing some analysis for our plyo mount study, which is pretty cool. And like a study we've been working on for a while, like something that's like obvious, I think, to the interested third party, like what kind of biomechanical differences do happen when you use plyo balls versus baseball. And it's pretty comprehensive. There's quite a lot of controls in there. I also posted that the last couple of days for Lindley's feedback. So I guess without getting too in the nitty gritty, you can go off that, Lindley. Now I totally stole your stage time, and give me some more discreet follow-ups on that kind of stuff.
I actually completely forgot about the editor for the blogs, and I'm really curious to see the edits he puts on.
Sometimes you're chill with it. I mean, he'll be too critical. He'll be like, I wouldn't really write it this way, but I guess it's technically, it's grammatically correct, But I'm open. Also, the editor's been cramped the last couple of weeks, so we've published quite a few blogs. All those how to throw X series that I tweeted about, like how to throw a fastball, curveball, whatever. Those ones, I really want to get those out as soon as possible. But OC was telling me that the editor was cramped, so I just like promised OC I would like thoroughly edit it and just like went through with like a fine tooth comb, like trying to catch any sort of grammar, anything, like twice over. But yeah, go ahead.
And they all got published, right?
Yeah. And they're all full of grammar mistakes, so your boy messed up. No, just kidding.
So SPM and the plyo study were two of the big things last week. I'm not really going to get super far into it. We talked about some of the SPM stuff last week. The new comparisons we did this round are really interesting to me. The comparing tall and short, or taller and shorter throwers, which like the shorter group is below 6 feet, I think, which is still.
Yeah, what's wrong with that, dude? What's wrong with that, dude?
No, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's not short.
All of a sudden, yeah. What?
I'm not saying it's bad.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
Like for somebody, for like an outsider, for us to say that somebody under 6 foot short. I'm just trying to clarify when I say short group. Long story short.
What? You got to say short again, dude?
We would qualify the short group as the group that Caravan falls into. That's the
Yeah, and we did a subsection of 88 plus elite throwers as well. So thanks, but I'm actually still working up there. I think I've only hit 87.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting, or it is interesting to see the difference between taller and shorter athletes as far as the pitching delivery goes. So I'm excited to get through the discussion on that.
I also spent like a couple hours going back and forth with Lindley on it on Friday, just getting so confused because we had so many different pipelines and it's like a wrap up of old pipelines.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, what's going on? Like at one point I was just asking Lindley to just check different subfolders because I didn't like trust myself anymore to know what kind of full signal was getting exported.
Yep.
I just gone so there were so many box folders for the old pipeline, man.
Yeah.
It's so messy.
In the archive folder, we have like 6 different text export folders that have full signals, and like all of them, or not all of them, are the same format. So we had to.
Yeah.
So yeah. So my next few days will probably get those things published. Hopefully, the plow study not for a while, but write it up internally, and then hopefully get the SPM blog finished.
I don't know if you got a chance to digest either of the set of results, and I know they're like, you know, the scope across both was pretty large, so there's quite a bit of stuff to go through. Did anything surprise you or stun you on either a project, either plow mound or the SPM comparisons between, tall and average height players?
The biggest one, the back hip flexion is really interesting to me because a lot of people talk about back hip extension. So like, hopefully we can kind of bring some clarity to that. And then the other thing, so I was a little bit surprised. I didn't really expect that to be a super big difference between like anthropometrics. But then in the plyos, oh no, and then the other thing in SPM was the pelvis drop. So like lateral pelvic tilt. There was a significance found, which is super interesting, and it's like that one's gonna be tough for me to really interpret and like figure out what it really means, because it's not something that we often talk about in our pitching like program, our throwing program. So yeah, it's gonna take some work to try to like put a bigger picture to all of the significant differences we found. But the pelvis drop and the back hip flexion extension were the 2 big ones. 2 surprises.
Were those on heavier or lighter?
Those were for the SPM, so tall versus short.
Oh,
We did tall versus short for elite throwers, and then like
Tall,
short,
fast.
in each like subcategory of tall and short throwers, we looked at differences in those subcategories between like harder and softer throwers.
interesting.
So basically three main comparisons.
Yeah.
3 main comparison splits, but all like kind of circling around the idea of height.
Yeah.
Also, I'll mention now I did some SPM analysis of the plyo data already. Part of it was to get back to Bill with a request about arm stress and heavy balls. And
I
then,
didn't look into it though, but I saw you post about it.
Yeah, so he had a question about peak elbow stress and maximum shoulder ER with heavier balls, and it found the green ball was actually like athletes didn't get more layback, and they had the peak stress is lower. But I was looking at the SPM results for basically every column, and they're like, not only are there just incredible differences within subjects, so between ball weights,
I would hope
but
so.
there's and I think it's probably mostly going to be 2 of the ball weights that are causing most of that.
Yeah.
And then we saw similar results with the plyo or with the discrete analysis. But the other thing is that there's like in a bunch of the metrics, there's one of the or a few of the athletes are just have wildly different mechanics, or like something's going on, because there's almost every metric has between subjects differences as well from the repeated measures in NOVA. So which is something that we didn't see in the weighted ball study. So I'm pretty excited to try to get to the bottom of that.
But also what you would hope to see in this study with like those, I mean, that's like a lot of what the program is built around, is those like potential for mechanical changes with those like much larger differences in ball weights. I mean, if you could throw the green ball with the same exact mechanics as a baseball, like that wouldn't make sense.
No, yeah, I totally agree with that. But the between subjects thing is still pretty crazy for me, because we haven't seen very much between subject differences in ball weight in like or it might just be like a few of these athletes just have way different mechanics than the others, or there's two like groups that are kind of separated. So
You're saying between
Also-
subjects differences with ball weight, right?
Yeah.
I'll
Like
have
the
to
average
get-
of green ball versus red ball being different, not the average of green ball versus red ball being different within.
I think both.
No. It's like, so athlete A has different mechanics from athlete on average has different mechanics than athlete B on average, like significantly. Like,
Is that like green ball to green ball or different balls?
I think it includes all balls, but that's something I'll have to clear up as far as it's like an interpretation of the repeated measures ANOVA that I'm not exactly sure on.
Okay, interesting.
I wrote down like some shorthand interpretation of the results as well. If you want to check it out, Brady, on the plyo study like base camp to do.
Mhm.
I was gonna say it was most of it was kind of what you'd expect in terms of like clear divides, like green, then blue, then red. But I was surprised. Probably the one thing I was service level surprised was baseball and gray ball were often had like no difference or no significant difference,
Mhm.
whereas like they were both in the same camp, so either like higher than all the other ones or lower than all the other ones depending on like the metric. They were
Mhm.
always like in the same kind of camp consistently, and then like yellow would not be in that camp, so like
Even though there's only a 50-gram difference.
Baseball and gray ball had much more similarities in their mechanics than like almost any other pairing of the balls.
I would almost expect that like makes sense.
Well, because the baseball is
least.
right in between. How many grams is the baseball? It's in between the gray and yellow ball, right? It's between 1 and 150.
Yeah, it's 142.
Yeah,
So it's closer to yellow.
I thought it's closer to yellow. That's why I'm surprised about it.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it too is the like definitely the difference in the like surface of the ball, the like texture of it, like the plyos being like a little squishy versus the gray balls are typically a lot like harder. When I've like thrown plyo balls and when people throw plyo balls like in the past, like the gray ball is the most, I think, like the baseball, and like velocities match up with that, the timing and everything as well for like what's produced out of it because the plyo ball has just that little like contextual feedback of it being like a little squishy. It's just like, usually a little bit slower, and then like that's gonna mess with the timing and mechanics of that.
Yeah, and the results back that up, and also good thing I wasn't part of the subject pool because I threw my yellow ball harder than my gray ball, so
yeah, that's
the results would have been skewed. Okay, but yeah, not getting too bogged down on the biomech stuff. Do we want to go into exciting? Technically, any listeners may cast a sneak peek on this announcement. Shifting to the second overlay on our newest kind of software release about stuff that we've been talking about or alluding to for the last couple months. Alluding to very briefly, so you'd have to be a really careful listener to kind of like have put everything together. But essentially, we are going to be launching this coming week a new integration of our current software management platform, TRAQ.
I don't know if are we launching it this week or we're launching the announcement of the launch.
I mean, we're launching something, dude.
Yeah.
Launch is the key word here.
It might just be
Let's
an
not
announcement.
Get bogged down.
An announcement.
Let's not get bogged down on the semantics.
Yeah. More info at drivelinebaseball.com /track-launch.
Link in the
and TRAQ is spelled TRAQ, and launch is spelled like the word launch.
Yes. Bingo.
But anyways, we've talked a bit about, and at least I've posted quite a bit of social media content on Driveline Edge. So what is Driveline Edge? Driveline Edge is what we've come to refer to most of our like software suite of tools and reports, and a lot of it is internal, and a lot of it is stuff that we've released in batches. Like we did a 50 free reports of swing profile. We did our C-Word dashboard through a Driveline Edge logo on there. So essentially, really what Driveline Edge is just public-facing software tools and reports that we've worked on, and a lot of it started actually with, Brady's pitch vizies that we offered as a subscription on Driveline Edge, and we added more things to it. We added some calculations. We had, essentially a lot of it has been reports and new features and new calculations that myself and Brady and Dan Acoin and Garrett York as the main software developer have been working on. And what we're doing is we're integrating. We already have the software platform of TRAQ where people store their data. They have tons of athletes. All that data is already there. So one of the main worries we had when releasing Edge tools is, okay, all these things need CSV inputs. All these things need like individuals to have access or facilities to have access to all the data we do, because we build these reports a lot of times off internal requests. And okay, this is what our trainers really want us to look at. These are the kind of reports they find valuable. So we think we could also provide these to the public with some alterations here and there, so forth. But TRAQ already stores data from a ton of technologies, API integrates with Rapsodo, TrackMan, DK, a bunch more, has integrations for Blast. Oh yeah. Technically we don't have Blast API. That's why I kind of put in its own subcam. But either way, you just upload your Blast report. It just auto-populates everything. We have a lot more technologies in the works as well. So TRAQ is the kind of hub of all this data storage. And since Edge basically allows you to leverage all that data, we are integrating Edge into TRAQ. So now TRAQ will have an Edge tab and separate Edge reports where you can run them. You can mass run them on a bunch of athletes. And all this stuff will be, we kind of have, like I said, this week's going to be pretty heavy on the media launch, a bunch of videos, a bunch of screen captures, blogs, content, all this kind of stuff. But essentially, what I'm really excited about this because it's a project I've been very involved in the last couple of months. I've put in probably more time on Edge integration and that kind of stuff than anything else consistently over the last 2 to 3 months. But the very big process is all your data is already in TRAQ. You go to the TRAQ. You now have custom-made analytical reports for different technologies. Sometimes you can combine technologies. You can run them across different athletes, and it just cuts out any third-party analytics in general. Not that you'll never have a need to run stuff on your own, but you have your own, essentially the Driveline software development team can cater to requests, can spit out general reports, all that kind of stuff. And honestly, one of the trickiest things was because TRAQ, for people really into outsourced development, TRAQ is currently built by a team of Belarusian devs, Stone Labs. They're great to work with. But like I said, for the last month, it's just been connecting our APIs to their APIs and allowing all these reports to be channeled directly. So now I can make an update on an Edge report on our prod server, and then the report you generate off TRAQ will have that update in it. So it took a lot of work, but we're in a pretty good position, and we're really excited to kind of release this to the general public. And that's my rant on TRAQ Edge.
Yeah. Instead of needing 7 different laptops or iPads with all the pieces of technology, all of your technologies that you have, just sync to one platform, and then you can get all of your reports, analysis, and data in one spot.
That's what I was just about to ask. So I was kind of unclear. Is data collection is also kind of integrated? So when you swing with a blast sensor or a DK sensor, whatever, that goes straight into TRAQ or goes straight into the technologies online library, and then it comes from there into TRAQ.
Yeah.
For the ones that are API integrated, you don't have to do anything except just integrate, just have the same email. And this stuff will be more detailed. It is detailed in TRAQ. There are tutorials on how to do this, but for example, for Rapsodo, you throw in a Rapsodo, you use your email, you go to your TRAQ profile, you integrate using that email. TRAQ data will be auto-populated in your Rapsodo interface.
Mm-hmm.
You can use an Edge report that concerns Rapsodo data, say pitch recommendations. That Edge report will use the data that you initially threw on Rapsodo, got backlogged to TRAQ, is using Edge. The report spits it out.
Yeah. So the data exists in both places.
Yeah, very minimal, data collection or storage work on your end specifically.
Yeah. And then now, if you have multiple pieces of technology, instead of having to go to all the different websites or places or have all the different apps open, you could have them all in one place under like a single player profile. So just like
But you still
minimizing the
gotta-
amount of work that the coach has to do, bouncing back and forth between tabs.
Oh, okay. They still have to like connect the mobile device to the sensor and then take swings with it, right? They can't
Yeah.
just like throw the ball
Yeah, as we
sensor
collected
on
on
Yep.
the initial tech, yeah.
So it's more the after the fact, like analysis and stuff, and collection and collation of all that data.
Also, by the way, did either of you guys have anything super more specific on TRAQ Edge? I was gonna veer off on a quick tangent.
Just that it's also going to be, it's more than just Edge. That like TRAQ is integrating with and like expanding. As far as like, it's not just Edge reports, but also just like more technologies, different technologies. We've talked a bit about the pitch AI stuff that's going to be involved in it as well, and potentially some other things coming down the pipe soon.
Yeah.
So it's not just TRAQ plus Edge. It's going to be TRAQ plus Edge plus a whole bunch of other things, and so that'll be in the TRAQ launch. It also has implications for like product pricing and bundles and all these other things. More info on that as the week goes.
Yeah, but your boy didn't work on any of that, so that stuff's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quick tangent. I don't know if you guys probably almost for sure didn't do exactly what I'm about to describe, but when I was like a little kid, and my family, for people I don't know, my family's like pretty foreign. They're Romanian. My parents are semi-religious. I'm not really, without getting too much into it on the podcast. But my parents grew religious, so growing up, they take us to church. They take us to this Romanian church, and like it'd be like a 2-hour drive, dude, and be in the mountains. It'd be kind of chill. I'd go there as like a little kid, like 10, 11, 12. I probably stopped going when I was like in my teens.
Mm-hmm.
And they would give you. This is like the case at like a bunch of traditional churches. I don't know how common it is at like other churches because I haven't really gone to too many. But they would give you like a sip of wine and like a bit of bread, right, as a little kid. And oftentimes, like my parents would bundle me in a car when we drive, and I'd get there, I'd be like hungry. So like the bread tasted pretty fire. I thought the wine tasted kind of fire. Dude, I'm drinking this boxed wine. I'm pretty sure those motherfuckers were putting boxed wine and using that as their wine. It tastes exactly the same, dude.
Same
It tastes
flavor,
exactly
wow.
the same. It just brought back memories from when I was like a little like 12-year-old, like getting in line, and the
Yeah.
priest was like ladle like a spoonful of wine in everyone's mouth. They were for sure using box. I think they were using like exact boxed wine, dude, wine cube. It says 300 plus awards. So
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. Look at that, 300 plus awards.
Yeah.
I think 200 of them were from that church, dude.
Wow.
Anyways,
What a memory, dude. Quite the association.
Yeah.
As we were.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool. Are there plans to get the data collection more integrated as well, or is that kind of workflow of like sensor to their own like online library and then getting data from there going to be like the thing going forward? Or are there like, because like pocket radar, are there times, do we have like velocities throughout a workout being updated into Edge directly?
We have a TRAQ. Pocket Radar has an API of TRAQ. We don't have any edge reports.
Yeah, I meant
We don't have any edge
I meant
reports
with TRAQ.
we don't have the edge reports with Pocket Radar because I think it's just like ELO.
Yep.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And TRAQ already does. TRAQ already does a bunch of. I mean, TRAQ already has like dashboards, descriptive stats, all this kind of stuff. It's not like all the info you need is from Edge. Edge just gives you much more cohesive. And like I said, there'll be plenty of examples. I'll post some screenshots myself. Whatever. Edge just gives you basically better, fully fleshed out reports. It's like the difference between seeing like a quick snapshot of averages and multi-page reports with like text recommendations, drill scores, feedback, all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of the difference. And the difference is also it's also like things we really value. It's things anybody can. Okay, like someone throws on a tech. What do you want to know? Okay, what's their average velo? Like it's essentially going past the service level analysis and giving you something that you can start basing programming off of, start using as player development, and start like really digging deep and even understanding. I think a big part of it is also educational.
Yep.
So a lot of reports will have like continuing educational links, all this kind of stuff. So I'm really excited to see what the what public feedback is as well. And depending on public feedback, like we'll be making more reports, we'll be integrating more things.
Yeah, it's just a start, and also like kind of getting into what Lindley said, like integrations like that or ability to like live pair stuff in the future would be dope. But this is kind of like the starting point of making that centralized platform that integrates all these things. It's just like your one-stop shop for coaching, instead of having a coach that has like Google Sheets open and the 7 other technologies that he has, while also trying to like calendar and program out like all of the athletes and stuff. So kind of just the beginning of that direction where TRAQ is going as that. So yeah.
Last thing before we move on from TRAQ Edge, another is a quick shorter tangent. Brady, you ever been, or either of you guys ever been to Deception Pass State Park?
Yeah, it's like south of here, right?
No, it's like on Whidbey. It's like on Whidbey, I thought.
Whidbey? Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was like you had to go southish to get there.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
You've hiked
I have been to Whidbey though. I have been to Whidbey.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Is that where you went this morning?
No, I'm about to go after this. I was just curious if you had any. Not that I'm gonna back out or anything, but if you had any quick one-liner reviews of the hike.
No, I have not been there.
All right. If Brady's not been there, I'm backing out. I'm getting cold feet.
I'm not gonna back out or anything.
All right.
You're fair.
You want to talk about how baseball is back?
Baseball is
how the MLB commissioner saw us throwing live at bats in Arizona and decided he's got to bring baseball back. $150 million is not a not enough of a squabbling point.
Yeah. No. Obviously, like teams in Arizona, we've had going. I think like last 2 weeks, we've had over like 60 different athletes roll through, whether they're doing like assessments or monthly training. I think we got about 30 to 40 guys right now regularly training on a weekly basis.
On the pitching side or total?
That's 60 total and 30 to 40 total in terms of like regular weekly or monthly training guys down here.
So the remainder are just like week assessments or whatever?
Yeah, just like rolling week assessments or like one-offs. Had a couple guys that came down for 2 weeks and then they had to get out because either leagues are starting up or they had to just like go somewhere else, kind of a thing. So
nice. I know multiple. I was driving home from Seattle to Sacramento yesterday, and I saw on the side of the highway there was a little league playing a game.
Yeah.
I think in Oregon.
Yeah. Oh, really? In Oregon? I thought that's crazy. Yeah, I thought Oregon was still a lot more like closed down. That's crazy.
I was surprised too.
Yeah, I mean Arizona is mostly like open for the most part. Like hasn't seen anything different around here with everything going on. But yeah, we had quite a few athletes. Just been training them at the facility that we have set up, running assessments. We've done like over 40 mocaps in the first 2 weeks. Next mocap day will be next weekend. Already got quite a few signups for that, so that'll be good there. And then this last Friday, yeah, just a couple days ago, we did our first live ABs. So
where'd you do the live ABs at?
Campo Verde High School.
Okay.
Gordo found out about it. Coach and him got together, talked about it, and yeah, gave us access to the field, all their like facilities and stuff. We had 2 pitchers and I think 5 or 6 hitters. And yeah, we just did like I think like 2.5, 3 innings of live ABs. So I think there were like 28 or 29 total at bats. So it was pretty good. It was really cool to like be out on the field again and just see like baseball happening. One of the hitters hit a bomb. He got jammed and hit a bomb, but yeah, it was a cool experience and good to have live ABs back, baseball back.
Awesome.
on the
Spencer
field.
got some sick edger footage. I saw that clip. Was
Yeah.
that like the one?
Yeah, that was the
The
bomb.
one good one?
That was the
Yeah.
bomb.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we have
Did he
we have tons of footage. Like I
I
got
was about to ask, yeah.
I got tons of footage all over pics as well. Gordo got a bunch of footage from behind the plate. We got like camera angles and like nonstop recording from behind the mound, Edgar footage, all that, and then like tracked it all. Langan was doing like live AB tracking in TRAQ, and yeah.
TRAQ duties are back, baby.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about? Well, first I was gonna mention Edgertronic footage is also. Or do you think you're gonna reuse any of that for pitch AI stuff from the actual live at bats?
No, I didn't get anything like that. I didn't take any side angles. I think it would have been kind of sketch. I maybe could have done it in the warm-ups, or I could have tried to have shot from, I guess, like the sidelines, but
Yeah, so it doesn't get smoked by a batted ball.
yeah, I actually should have tried that. At the next one, I'll try to get it from like the dugout of the sidelines. Try to get.
Did you see our setup when we tried
slow-mo.
getting uplift captures in the 4-3 cage? Is that two edgers set up with Rapsodo shields?
Yeah,
just
Rapsodo
like
shields
in
around
front.
them. Yeah,
like in front of the hitters.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Tanner
awesome.
smoked the tripod on one of them. Fell over brutal.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, no, it
Do you
was.
want to talk a
it was
little
good.
bit? Do you want to talk a little bit about ELO rating? How you guys thought of it? Pitching it to me, us going back and forth on it for 30 minutes at the analytics wing meeting, our eventual resolution.
Can we just start with
Maybe-
what is ELO?
ELO is just like a.
It's like Eno's twin brother, right? Eno Saris's younger brother.
No, ELO's a rating system. I think it's been like mainly popularized in chess, which just like weights the matchup based on your skill and your opponent's skill, and then the like winning and losing is affected accordingly. So instead of like two teams going head to head and assuming that they're evenly matched and one team being awarded a win, one team being awarded a loss, instead, if you know that a team is ranked like, you know, significantly better than the other team, and the team that's a dog in the fight wins, they get like a more point boost than they would for like a normal win, and then the team that loses gets a bigger reduction. At the same time,
So a quick example would be like if Lindley and I were about to do a hill run, I'd have like a ELO of 1400, have like an ELO of 1200. So if I beat him, that's like expected. I'd probably get like an ELO boost of like 40. I beat up on a worse opponent, but if Lindley was somehow to beat me, like my like ankle blew out or something, he'd get like 80 or 90 or something for beating like a higher rank.
Yeah.
And those are just like sample weights. In reality, the ELO gap between us would probably be even bigger. But continue.
And you would also get a huge reduction as well, Caravan, like yours, because it works best in like zero-sum games where the outcomes are equivalent. Like the opponents experience the same outcome, just alternatively kind of thing. That's why it works really well in chess. Does that make sense?
I'm gonna beat you in the marathon, bro. My ELO is for sure gonna be higher than Caravan's for the marathon.
Before or after the marathon?
Before.
Before, it's
well,
gonna be higher?
I mean, if it's on the same scale, you can't just like have the same ELO for different distances, right?
Yeah.
Like if you and I are developing an ELO, or like they're changing based on like a 5-mile run, yeah, you might be able to beat me. But when it comes to 26, bro, come on.
Well, you can go.
When it comes to 26.2, though, your boys sprint those last point too.
I could see that happening. That would be so brutal.
Well,
I'm
that's what I'm.
in front of like a half mile, and then Caravan just comes up in the last like 10 minutes and just flies past me.
That's my plan, dude. I'm just gonna try to keep pace with you and then just blow it out in the last 200 yards.
Oh god.
Yeah. Well, there are a couple of ways that like ELOs are kind of like developed and maintained. Like you could do it like Fangraphs did like a player ELO article last year where they base it off of like all historical data, or you could just do it where at the start of a season or the start of a ladder, whatever it is, everyone comes in at the same ELO, and then you let the matchups as they go determine their ELO rating, and it's kind of just like done live, which is what I did for live ABs last week. The 2 pitchers and the 5 hitters all came in at just like set 1400 ELOs. So we assumed that all the matchups were the same to begin. And then as they played, ELOs changed, right? So pitcher 1's ELO is 1400. If he walked the first guy, his ELO is now lower. Let's say it's like, 1395 or whatever. Now he's
and you just base those. And you just based those off outcomes of the plate appearance, or did you weight the outcomes as well by some like level of competition or something?
Yeah, so you can do for the outcomes, like you could do just a non-binary or just a binary outcome setup where it's like the only outcomes are win and loss. So it's like plus or minus kind of a thing. Or if you do like a non-binary one, which is what we're trying, to where like the outcomes are weighted. So you can win, but you can win really big, or you can lose and like lose really big kind of a thing. So Caravan just put together like intrinsic run values based on outcomes. And I think we ran like 8 possible outcomes and set home run as the highest cap, and then weighted everything off of that based off of like those intrinsic run values. So
the amount that a player's ELO is adjusted is going to change by the same amount for each player, or is that amount also scaled based on like the difference in level of play? Like if it's a college.
So that's what it does. So the outcome possibility is set in stone as like you can get 100% of the total possible points if you hit a home run. If it's a triple or whatever, you get like 70 or 80%, that kind of a thing. And it kind of goes down. Like chess and other games that do this, like backgammon does it as well. Like it's not just about winning, but if you like win really quickly, like they can do it by time or the amount of moves. So if you win in like a short amount of moves, you would get like a bigger ELO boost or something like that, or shorter amount of time, longer amount of time. And the big part about ELO though, the kind of like important piece that it hinges on is being able to compare immediately. So the matchup, the differential in matchup is going to dictate the amount of points. Like if there's a wide differential in that initial matchup, you have a huge opportunity as the dog to gain like more points, and you also won't be affected too much if you lose. So it's trying to create like a probability of winning, the like your likelihood of success, and then awarding you points based on that. It's assuming that not all matchups are equal and then weighting that appropriately. So that's how we did it for the live example. So like as the pitcher,
like
well, I was just doing it on a spreadsheet and wasn't really telling them. I was just kind of like doing it to see how it would kind of work and adjust, and the values, the values seem pretty good. It was just like an attempt to add another layer of like actual competition and kind of fairness to live ABs, because we have a ton of variance in the like kind of guys that come in, and so you create a scenario where like say live ABs in the off season, you have some like high school or college kid going up against Trevor Bauer, like it's like if he strikes out, it's really tough after a live AB season to look at someone's stats and be like, oh, they're this good, they're that bad, because you have no idea if they were facing Trevor Bauer or some guy, from who's like in the middle of like a development phase during live ABs. So
so do you guys have ideas of set weights? And I haven't looked into this myself. This could be something we could have a conversation about, like set weights for people to come in with, like a high school player that hasn't taken first live at bat at Driveline, he's assigned X ELO. College players assigned X ELO. Yeah. MILB players assigned X ELO. Like, do you guys have ideas of what you want those starter weights to be at, or is that like a conversation we should have?
Yeah, so that's what I was mentioning too. How there's like 3 ways you go about kind of like setting that starting ELO is like either base it entirely off the like historical data, like what they're coming in as, which we could do, but I think that's going to be kind of tough. It could be like hard to kind of have it. That's like a good start. You could set everyone at a level playing field, which if you're going to have a large enough like sample size, that's usually going to be fine because it's just going to like correct itself as it goes, kind of a thing.
It'll screw over people who have like 4 live at bats ever at Driveline, and they could, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like people are going to rest. Or what you do is you do like a kind of like placement period. So like games or other things will do this. Well, you'll have like 5 matches against an array of like ELOs, and say there's like 5 other tiers kind of a thing, and your performance in those will kind of place you in a set ELO ranking kind of a thing. So if you go
like bullpen,
no, so like if you go 5-0 in your first 5 like live at bats or something, that's going, and like you take the weights of the other people, that's going to set you at like a certain tier
So Elos wouldn't be set for the first 5 people you face then?
No, so you're just coming in as like a base person, and you have this like people that you're gonna face, and then that like ranks you initially, just kind of loosely.
You need elos for the opponents, right?
Right.
For like levels of play.
But what about those people, the people you face? How do their elos get affected when you just have a base elo? So what are they?
Well, ideally they're already like in the ladder, or they're already like they already have their like ongoing elo score. So like from the start, you would start with like everyone at that 1400 or whatever it is, that baseline one, and kind of level it out. I mean, chess
wouldn't be affected, right?
Chess does that thing where you just start out at a set number and you just work your way, and that's like part of the grind to get to like wherever you're gonna go, which I think is I'm like pretty fine with that. Everyone starts at the same square one.
I think that's fair too, because also like even if people do have different talent levels going in live at bats, that's not always going to show. Like some really talented pitchers take live at bat. Like pro pitchers will not be throwing that hard in off season, or they won't be as competitive as maybe like some really good college pitchers.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Bauer throw 15 straight balls in live at bats.
Yeah, and I think we're going to run into like just as many issues if we tried to create like a ranking. Yeah. Like we could just completely screw over like a high school kid. It's like, oh, well, you're high school, so you're going to come in at a 1200. Yeah. And it's like, well, it happens to be like one of the best high schoolers world or something. I think the most accurate thing we could do is I don't think we should do this initially, some sort of like assessment score kind of a thing, to base it off of that. And because we have enough of that data on like
pitchers, we could use Arsenal scores, right?
Yeah, Arsenal scores would be a good one, and then like on the hitting side, like KVS scores or whatever it is, something that's like tied into the assessment. I mean, you could even do the Arsenal score plus like force plate, predicted velo stuff, plus the biomac like scores. I think there's an opportunity to build out something like way more intense like that. But initially, I like the idea of pushing for having a lot of live ABs and everyone just starts at the same place. Maybe you do something by level. Like if you're a big leaguer and you come in, all right, you're probably like a 1600 or something. But I don't know. I kind of like the idea of like, if you are that good and you start out at a 1400, it shouldn't take long for you to, just like continually go up.
Yeah, I like the idea of baseline, especially initially. I don't want to bog down as like too many complexities when we're like trying it out. And there are still things we need to figure out, like the combo you and I had a couple nights ago at like 2 a.m. When we were talking about like outcome versus predictive.
Yeah, I've thought about that a lot, and I think outcome makes the most sense more and more, especially just like looking more into like ex-WOBA stuff and how that's already done. Yeah, I feel like it would just reward hitters too much, and it wouldn't give like pitchers the opportunity to be like excessively rewarded. And that's the whole point of ELO, is that you have to like accurately be able to compare that matchup kind of a thing based on the game.
And for the listeners, what we're talking about is what I basically did for a couple of sample weights is I whipped up intrinsic run values across the 2019 MLB season. So basically, how many runs on average get scored when someone flies out versus when someone hits a single versus when someone strikes out, whatever, all that stuff. And then like Brady said, scaled it to 100 for a home run and build backwards from there. And the idea would be if we were doing like something more predictive, like ex-WOBA. So like say someone does hit a 110 ball straight into like the right fielder's glove, that's an out. That's a negative outcome, but also that's predictive of them being a better hitter. And like that outcome, like that play itself gives you higher confidence in predicting that they'll have a higher WOBA in the future. But like if you scale everything on X WOBA, it'll become a little bit more complex. And we do have, like I was saying, I thought one of the points worth repeating was we do have tons of reports that kind of go off that. We report players' average EV, top eighth EV, all that kind of stuff. Like those numbers are going to get boosted from a developmental point of view. It is nice to have something that is at least more descriptive in terms of what actually happened.
Yeah.
Since we are like oftentimes like so based in player development projections and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a nice mix to have this based on outcomes, and it is easier to track.
Yeah.
And again, if we get feedback, like I said, I think it'll be easy to transition into adjustments here and there, but I like keeping it simple to begin with.
Yeah. Also think there's a couple things too with that. It was like, one was if you made it something like XWO, but you'd have to apply it to both, because then it's no longer a zero sum outcome, right? Like the pitcher gets rewarded for getting an out, but then also now the hitter is getting rewarded. Like it'd be like in chess if like both people somehow won, just at like varying levels. And that would be like a huge kind of like wrinkle in that. Another thing we talked about.
It would be on both ends. Like it'd be like 110 mile an hour fastball to the right fielder, an out, and the pitcher gets like docked. In that situation. Yeah,
which I think would kind of like almost like defeat the purpose of what we're trying to do with this, which is make like the live AB scenario way more competitive and focus on the competition, because I think we lose a lot of that just being at Driveline, prioritizing velocity, those kind of things. So one thing we mentioned was like having 2 ELOs. Like you have your like Driveline development ELO, and then you have like your competition ELO from live at bats, and then that gives us an idea if those are like vastly different. Then it's telling us where we're missing. You know, it's like if we have a guy who, based on all the drills and stuff he does at Driveline, he should be an amazing player, but for some reason in live ABs he just gets smoked or he like walks the house. Then we can look at something else. I mean, gauge tracking definitely in there, but I think a lot of it's got to be like mental stuff or like command things on the pitching side. You know, like I think a lot of that would get exposed pretty quickly, and that's kind of like always been the historical knock on Driveline kind of things. But one thing I wanted to I asked in a thread, Caravan, but I'm still kind of domed up about those intrinsic run values. Why strikeout as a pitcher, I would get rewarded more for in play out than strikeout. Probably same for plays. Hitter as well.
Probably double plays.
Is it because of I think I might have mentioned that, but because that was like plays. Taken out.
Because I only took out grounding and double plays. There's still other double plays you could have. So on average, it'd be And like I said, I'm down to scale those anyways for. I mean, one season of worth of data is good, but we could do like we could do 5 seasons worth of data.
But that's not
be more stable.
That's not one of those things that's just like, oh yeah, that's just like a counterintuitive thing of baseball. I mean, is that the case, or is it like as a hitter, I am better off like striking out than grounding out or like flying out? Because all of those out values had higher intrinsic run values, or I'm sorry, all of those had lower intrinsic run values than strikeout, right? Like as a pitcher in that scenario with the ELOs, I'm like incentivized to not strike someone out. I'm incentivized to get like a ground out or a fly out.
But it's like that's what I mean when it's so descriptive. It's like based on what actually happens. It doesn't mean like someone who Ks a lot more is overall just better. Like is overall better because you can't. It's much harder to predict where the ball will go when it's in play, that kind of stuff. And obviously, the less overall balls in play are a much more positive. Much more positive outcome. We're kind of rescaling. We're saying like balls that went into play and are out have a more positive impact on the pitching team because like those might have resulted in a double play, that kind of stuff. I was a little surprised too.
Okay, yeah.
And like I said,
that makes sense.
And like I said, I'm down to double check those numbers, but it's I don't think I think that's a good example of it being super descriptive. I don't think we even need. I think the intrinsic run values when scaled to 100, it was like a difference of like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily we can roll with that. It's not going to affect the overall ELO ratings too much. It's not like someone's like, "Come on, bro, I struck out." I've pitched 80 innings of no hit live at bat, but I struck out like 70 guys instead of like 20. So my ELO is actually negatively affected. Like just getting out in general is gonna boost your ELO. So it can get boiled down to that. But that's probably why the intrinsic run values are lower.
Okay,
We're gonna be able to look into how many at bats they're gonna need, or how many plate appearances, or how many like
to stabilize ELOs.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think that's also one of the things that's like nice about it, about the ELO system, is that you can't abuse it by just like having more at bats. You can't like cheat it. By having like more or less kind of a thing.
But
You can't just like grind away at it.
Yeah,
It
but
could
like if
be-
you have less, it can be not unrepresentative of what your actual performance is, right? Like if
I was gonna say really quickly that it could be something where we check where it kind of stabilizes from a like math and distribution point of view, and then we use that to kind of track actual tangible changes in people's performance. Like, oh, okay, stabilized after like X amount of the live at bats, and now since then you have like a 50 gain in ELO, so that means you actually have been pitching better, as opposed to like, oh, okay, your ELO ballooned back up after your initial 2 at bats because you got smoked and then you like struck someone out.
Yeah,
like that doesn't mean you automatically became a better pitcher.
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to cheat it in like in some capacity though, because you do have the opportunity to just like continually go up and up if you really are that good. Like it's gonna be hard to if you hit a home run in your first at bat, sure, your ELO can jump a total of like 15 points. Right. But if you're going up against someone who's had like hundreds of at bats, you have to go through a lot of at bats to kind of like even approach where they are, kind of.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, we just need to like be confident for how many at bats we need to have an athlete to, or plate appearances a hitter needs to have, or a pitcher, how many appearances a pitcher needs to have to like be confident that the ELO is representative of how they actually are. Like if they come in and they're here for a week, they hit one live AB session, like
right. Yeah, but the point is that like it's a leaderboard and you're trying to like continually climb it, kind of a thing, and it's impossible in a small sample to like immediately just jump to the top, right?
No, yeah.
But that's the problem with like average or slugging percentages, all that. Like in a system like that, yeah, you can cheat it. You can have one at bat and just like slug 4,000, right? With ELO, if like you're going up against a group of people that have had so many at bats, your skill level is going to like show up and be properly evaluated, whether you have 30 at bats or 100. But it's not going to be able to do that with just like one kind of a thing. So it also just incentivizes like you to participate in that live at bat competition, like more and more and more, kind of a thing.
That's what I'm saying. But like I was just saying, like in the case that they can't.
Yeah.
And we use this as like a descriptive tool for how well they did in training, or how good of a hitter they are.
As you're saying, Lindley, I actually just Googled something right now to see if I could come up with a 2-second example, and I saw this example. I looked up ELO stabilization, and I saw some figure on ResearchGate comparing. I need to read this, man. It compares female American bison and red-spotted Masu salmon. I don't know if it has to do with the ELO. It says ELO rating score, but I gotta look more into
ELO
it.
of
that
survival?
might be like
ELO of life?
ecological, like, or like environmental. That might be some sort of like acronym. While the ELO we're talking about is not an acronym.
No, it's ELO rate. I don't know. I just figured I wanted to mention that salmon stabilized way quicker than bison.
Yeah.
All right. You should wrap up here.
Yeah. So that's
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
All the dads out there.
Thanks. Oh,
yeah. I mean,
no one on this podcast that we know of.
I mean,
I'm trying, dude. I am trying.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, one on this note. We can end on this note. So I told you I had a Zoom call with a bunch of people from my high school.
In the event that this is not capable, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
It's nothing.
Just in case. We'll see you later.
I was gonna say, so it's like 4 other people. One of them was the guy who I was a groomsman for, where I messed up my knee at his bachelor party, and I hadn't talked to him in a while. We're like so many people there I hadn't talked to in years, and we're like kind of all talking, catch up, whatever, and then like because his siblings have been getting married too, so one of the other guys made a joke about like his family expecting little Cheenies, and in my mind, because the guy's 26, I think, and he got married less than a year ago, and he's like really busy. He like just starting his own like technical like legal office, so he's got a ton of stuff going on. So I'm sure I figured I knew the answer to this question, but I just thought it'd be kind of funny to put him on the spot in front of like other people we haven't talked to in years. So the guy makes a joke, and I just go, yeah, James, by the way, are you guys trying? Are you guys trying right now? Are you guys like trying to have a baby? And then he just like but it was just like, I don't know. I just want to share that to see if you guys thought like that's a acceptable
Did you say
thing
it?
to ask.
Did you say it in a joking tone, or was it like a serious connotation?
Initially started off joking, but I tried making the question serious because A, I was curious, and B, honestly, I just kind of want to see the reaction. I don't know if that was a appropriate thing to mention or not.
I don't know. I don't know how that adult stuff works.
Yeah. I mean, are you guys trying right now?
No.
We can, on that note, are you guys trying to have kids right now?
No.
No.
Nope.
All right. I guess that makes one out of three of us. All right. Peace.